Hello, this is Martí Ruids at the Fine Arts Faculty in Barcelona, and this is the Metal Sculpture Workshop. And in this video we're going to talk about the Pangamelan project. It's called Pangamelan because we're using pans, frying pans, and because we draw inspiration from gamelan, which is music from Indonesia. So we're going to talk about all that, but let's say that the whole point is we upcycle frying pans into musical instruments. Okay, so what's the actual difference between this and a regular bell? Well, this used to be a cooking pot. But actually, the idea is that when you have a handle, the vibration gets stopped, gets locked. So the sound cannot travel through the material itself. And we can find some difference when we remove the handle and we free the shape so it can vibrate more. We can also see that phenomenon just by holding the pan here. The sound is not traveling when there's no handle. Oh, it's a beautiful bell-like sound. So we have to consider here what is going on in the shape. Which are the path for the vibrations? Which are the parts of the pan that would vibrate and the parts that would not vibrate? Let's have a closer look at this. Okay, so we have put some water in this pan so we can see the vibration. Now the water is here, right onto the edge, and also it's touching the center part of the pan. So when we strike it on the edge, we can see these tiny beautiful ripples created by the vibration. Whereas here in the center of the pan, we see the water is not vibrating. Normally you can work out a pangamelan just starting with screwdrivers. Usually they are enough to remove the handles, because in many cases they're just tightened with a screw. If you can have power tools, that's going to be easier. In this case we're going to use the power tool to make it shorter. So, first of all, this one doesn't really sound, it doesn't really resonate. We remove the handle, and now, oh, it's a beautiful sustain tone that we can use for our sounds. Also, in this case, we can hold it here in the center, which is the part that doesn't vibrate, so this means that we can just lay it down, especially if we can have some fabric or some cushion to allow the vibration to spread. And also, we can listen to the bottom side. So in this case, this part will not be vibrating, and this will behave a little bit like a membrane. Alright, so what kind of pans can we use? We regularly have round pans or squared or even rectangular shaped pans. All of them can be interesting. The idea here is to just explore, and we use the ones we like. When we have this kind of squared ones, we might find different tones in different regions. So the flat side will sing this tone, whereas in the corner we might find a different sound. Let's check this one too. Yeah, so we have two different sounds which we like, and we can save them. And in this case, we have. Okay. Why not? Sometimes when you see pans which are kind of thin, the walls are thin, and we see this outer rim, probably you don't even need to try to remove the handle, because they generally don't produce much sound. Like boom, it's a dull. But what about the bottom part? Yeah, this might be useful. So the idea is, let's explore every pan and let's take every sound for what it is. If you like it, it's okay. If we don't like it, we don't use it. Sometimes you get super thin walled pans, and we got this kind of like tam tam tam-tam sound, we can also use them. It's a completely different kind of sound, but it could work well with all the other prettier bell-like sound. So here the idea is we open our ears and we try to enjoy and explore the possibilities. What if we can't remove the handle with a power tool or with a regular screwdriver? Then we might need some grown-up to help us cut this. Let's see how we do it. Alright, so we see sometimes the screw is full of grease or it's locked too much, so we cannot remove it with any kind of tool. Then we might have to cut it. We can cut it with a regular handsaw, or we can use, again, power tools. So maybe there's some grown-up, someone with tools in the hood that can help us. That would be the ideal, especially for this kind of pans that would be completely impossible to unscrew. There's nothing to unscrew here, but we can always try to cut this. So we will cut the two of them and see what goes on. But remember, you see, this produces no sound as it is now. Let's see what happens when we cut. Always protect yourself. Can't wait to listen to that. Well, it's better than before, but it might sound. You never know until you remove. So let's do the other one. Let's see this one. Okay. So we've gotten a new bell for our set. Now we have plenty of pans without the handle, and we can decide by listening to them. We can organize a scale, we can group them. Find the ones that sound fine together. Oh, I find them all beautiful. Okay, so now I could decide how to place them in a row or on different shapes, so I can. So this is part of the game too. So when you have them on a flat surface with some fabric or some clothing, then they can vibrate like bells, like this. Okay, I don't like this one for this set, but I will save it because it's a really beautiful sound. Same thing with the squared one. So it's all about finding the tunings that you like and play with that. And same thing with the bottom part. Oh! This is pure chance, but I like the four of them. Let's see the ones that we didn't want to use. Okay, this works great for this one. And what about this? Oh, why not? Okay, so you see, with this setting, we have all the freedom in the world to kind of like organize, make a circle around us, or if we're going to play with friends, we can decide the order, and that's part of the fun. Now, apart from using them flat or using them like bells, what if we want to organize them like that? So the only thing we need to do is just drill a hole here in the center. Nowadays, most of the pans we see, they are made out of aluminum, and aluminum is a pretty soft metal. So it's not going to be that hard. If you happen to have a press drill, a big one, or you have anyone in the hood who can do it with a press drill, then it's even easier. But in this case, I think just rubbing them strong by hand and making a hole in the center would work. You see, so the idea when you want to make like a big hole, the idea is you first make a tiny hole with a little drill bit, and then you make it bigger with another drill bit. So we open a bit this size of the hole. You see, that was pretty easy because it's aluminum and it's really soft material actually. It still rings like that, and now we can hold it, we can by several means, we can see that soon, and we can still use it as a membrane at the bottom. How can we actually set this kind of instrument? Just by using threaded rods with nuts and bolts. So the idea is pretty simple. You get a long rod, as long as you need it to be, and you just make this kind of sandwich. So let's say that we have a nut here. We better use washers, so the grip is tighter, the pressure is better distributed. Let's say that it will last longer, it will be tightened, it will be better tightened. And then with a set of spanners you can tighten it up pretty tighten. And you see, it still works as a bell. So now we could stuck as many pans we want in here. And then we can make any sort of leg we want. In this case we have just upcycled some old pieces of wood, but you can come up with any idea you like to hold this stuff. And now to finish, let's see another setting with the bells already drilled at the bottom. So you see, this mounting system is even simpler. You need a tree or something to hang a rope, and you just make these little nuts and hold them like a bell tree. So you can try to make sure that they're not going to crash into each other, but sometimes when they crash into each other, it's also lovely.
Hi there, I'm Theresa, and Martí and me were going to play a little bit of Pangamelan.
Yeah, we're going to use some of the techniques that you find in Indonesia, because you see, with these long sustained sounds, sometimes it becomes like a huge cloud of sound. So one of the special techniques that they use in Indonesia is that you play with one hand and then you stop the sound with the other hand. So you make some silence, you make some room for your friends to play also. So we're going to just drift around and play a little bit with Theresa. Okay. Okay, so what kind of mallets can we use? What kind of hammers or sticks could we use? Right. Regularly, softwoods may produce a beautiful sound. But sometimes wood can be too harsh. So then you can try to find different kinds of hose or rubber tape or bicycle tire, the rubber tire thing to soften the sound of this aggressive attack. It can also be a good idea to upcycle the handles of the pans, and by protecting them with some piece of cloth or some sort of duct tape or something until you get the right sound. If that is too shiny, maybe we can make this a bit softer until we get the sound. Here we're using these mallets, which are made out of nylon, which is very resistant, and we have these different kinds of rubber ends, so we get this mellow, beautiful sound. But it's all about your taste. It's all about getting the ones that you like the best. Also, if you don't get the pitch that you would desire, just be patient. The more people knowing about your Pangamelan project, the more pans will start to arrive. Many of my friends and relatives has been saving their own pans and pots for this project. So if you start this kind of project, more people can join, and they can join with their pans and they can play, they can help building. So it's, as gamelan in Indonesia, this idea is to collective creation and sharing experiences and efforts. Also, if you want to have more information on Pangamelan, you can visit pangamelan.org, and we also have this account on Twitter and Instagram, so if you want to contact us, please feel free to do it and ask any doubts you may have. Also, if you start your own Pangamelan project, we will be delighted if you share this thing with us. So we draw inspiration from Indonesian music, but you can try to mix it with your own musical culture or your own musical taste and come up with new ideas. In that case, we would be really interested in knowing what you've been doing. We hope you enjoy it and you can make beautiful sound and share it with your friends, build beautiful instruments with your friends, and create a community around the pleasure of upcycling old materials and just sharing nice moments with your friends.